Okay, we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brad Etlin. I'm a realtor with Kale Realty here in Chicago. This is our inaugural episode of Chicagoans at Home Talking Shop. This is a Facebook live stream happening once a week. And today I'm thrilled to have my guest, Jill Dillingham, who is CEO and founder of Tight Ship Advisors. Good afternoon, Jill.
Hi, Brad. Thank you so much for having me. The inaugural guest. I feel honored.
Awesome to have you here. And I apologize to our guests with any technical glitches we have this first time. I'm only seeing me. Are you seeing you?
I've got both of us. I've got you and I both together. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a delay, so it's working.
Good.
Awesome. Okay, good stuff. So we will kick things off. This is a lunch hour chit chat with Chicago entrepreneurs such as Jill. And just thought we could get to know a little bit about you, Jill, before we kick into the content.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fire away. I'm an open book.
All right, awesome. So Jill, my first question for you, a fun one. What is your favorite Chicago restaurant?
I've got probably two, and they're very, very different. When I am in the city, there is nothing I love more than to belly up at the bar at Kuma's Corner. Just bar setting burgers, and just such a cool laid back atmosphere. My husband and I have been going there for about 13 years, and have made friends with a lot of the staff. It's just an amazing place. I do live in the northern burbs, so I do appreciate those other local haunts that are within walking distance of my house. A really great new place has just opened up, 501 Local, and they're, from lamb chops to pot stickers to everything in this great, wonderful outdoor courtyard. It's definitely a must go to as well.
Sounds great. Next time up in your area, I will definitely drop in.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and final question. What is one tip you have for our viewers, listeners, one tip for staying sane in our COVID era?
Yeah, I think especially living in Chicago, what's kind of kept me sane is getting outside. And especially given the window of time we have in Chicago for really good weather. I redid all of my patio furniture. And making sure I'm spending some time outdoors and getting some fresh air has really been really key to me. And that wasn't something that I was really focusing on pre-COVID. That's kind of been one of my saving graces.
Love it. Yeah, I know myself. At least 3-4 times a day, I'll just get out, even walk for, 10 minutes just to catch my breath and create a good balance. It's tough to draw clear lines between work and the rest of our lives. So love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So again, we have Jill Dillingham here, CEO and founder of Tight Ship Advisors. And my first question for you this afternoon, Jill, is what is a certified senior advisor?
I know that's something that a lot of people kind of go, huh? When we initially start talking about Tight Ship Advisor services. And it's kind of because it was actually something that I was even looking for, a function, a resource, a person to help support my in-laws when there started to be some questions around their household management. Taxes had not been filed on time. They were in the wrong Medicare D product. There were some questions around their investment portfolio. The landscaper was definitely overcharging them. And we needed someone that was a content expert on all facets of senior living. And that is from paying the bills to maintaining appropriate healthcare access. And there is a designation out there, a certified senior advisor, that someone who is a content expert and highly trained with specific knowledge around everything from investments to Medicare to financial modeling for senior living, being able to be a patient advocate. And it's a pretty lengthy certification. A lot of self-study and about a 4-hour long, very rigorous exam to pass, and also includes continuing education every year. So it's kind of the ultimate resource for any boomer plus that is looking for a wingman or support with their day-to-day lifestyle.
So this is such a fascinating field to me, and one that I admittedly knew absolutely nothing about until we met. And I can totally see the need. Is this a new field? Are you kind of, you know, a founder in this field? How long has this space been out there?
The certification has been around for a good deal of time, but there was never really anything organized around it as far as outreach of services, the same way you see on the physical side with home health care, with making sure the physical well-being is maintained. Financial care is something that is really brand new, and something that we've kind of left all 50 million seniors in the US to their own devices. Every day, 10,000 people become Medicare eligible. And we as a society have kind of looked at it and said, good luck, Google it, which is pretty much unacceptable. Tight Ship is kind of paving the way to create a standard of financial caregiving that's never really existed before. I think anyone watching, or friends, or even in my own experience, people just rely on the Google, or they rely on maybe an adult child or a family friend or someone maybe being able to help them out. There's never really been professionals that are going to help with every facet of this. So it is a new business all on its own.
For sure. And as we know, not everything on the internet is true. So I can I can only see the problems that, you know, folks would run into trying to navigate through a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of information, a lot of misinformation.
Correct.
And not knowing what resource to trust. So traditionally, how do people seek support with Medicare decisions or moves to kind of supportive living?
Yep. And again, it's a lot of just relying on hoping they're making the right decision, that they might have gotten the right information from online or family, friends, and they might be able to get a little help from existing healthcare providers, but that's just the Medicare area in which that they're going to actually kind of get that support. And also there's a lot of questions around the modeling for, okay, I'm healthy now, but do I need to prepare for home health care? Can I afford to move to assisted living? And there might be some financial advisors or accountants based on how much money you have, where you can get that family office experience where they will have all that information for you. But let's be honest, you know, the average American isn't going to have $15 to $20 million in asset management with their financial planner. That leaves pretty much the rest of the population to kind of go at it themselves and try to figure it out on their own without qualified assistance. So again, something where if I wasn't able to find it for my own family, I was going to push forward and found Tight Ship advisors to make sure everyone has the same access to that level of not only concierge service, but information so they can make the right decisions for their home health or lifestyle.
No, I love it. And I can hear your passion. And obviously that stems from, like you're saying, a personal experience, a personal void, a problem that you encountered in your own life. And I'd love to hear I can feel your passion coming through. So that makes good sense.
Thank you.
So tell me, like, how do you work? What is your relationship to financial advisors and accountants? How do you work together? Are you stepping on each other's toes, or?
Not at all. This actually creates a more cohesive team around the client. As I mentioned, you know, it was with my own family, with my in-laws, that I tried to find this type of resource and came up dry. And this actually is a problem for a lot of financial planners and CPAs, because when someone has a question about what can I afford, what can I do, am I doing the right thing with my money, of course they're going to reach out to their existing advisor, the person they already trust with the inner workings of their financial lifestyle. And financial advisors don't want to ever say, I don't know, or we can't help you. This, by becoming a strategic partner with Tight Ship Advisors, instead of saying, I don't know, we can't help you make a decision around your Medicare, Instead, that financial advisor can say, here's our trusted partner that works with us. And we end up being kind of that conduit for information between the client, their family, and the financial advisor, the CPA, even their estate attorney. And by connecting all those dots and having everyone work in coordination together, not only does that create greater efficiencies, it actually also promotes security, that people can take a more preventative approach on what can we do in the long run, what are our safeguards. So, you know, and no one's going to mess around with someone that's got an army around them that are all working in conjunction. So it actually ends up creating efficiencies not only for the financial advisors and creates greater value that they can say, we can do all of these things for you. And we have partners that can even help on this granular level of making sure the Comcast bill is on the up and up. But it also creates security and peace of mind for the client as well as their family.
Makes sense. So how are people finding you? Is it the accountants and the financial advisors that are introducing their clients or their clients' kids to you to help get onto your program?
Absolutely. And when I first started the business, I thought this was going to be, you know, the phone ringing off the hook of, you know, anyone Boomer Plus who's about to become Medicare eligible, or even just honestly someone who said, you know, I'm retired. I've earned the right to not have to deal with all of this anymore. I want that personal assistant, a concierge. That's what we initially thought. But the majority of our referrals were coming from those financial advisors and accountants who were getting the calls because, again, you're picking up the phone and you're asking questions of someone you already have the relationship with. So that's how we've actually grown within the Chicago market, is partnering up with wealth management teams, with accountants, with estate attorneys. But that is not to say that that's the only way the business has grown. One of the other channels that's kind of blossomed over the past few years is adult children reaching out to us saying, I really want to help mom and dad, or there's been some type of life event. How do we help? And sometimes it's really, really good to employ an outside party, Switzerland, who can come in and help the individual and not really mess with the adult-child relationship. I know very well my parents, they're on solid ground. They have the resources around them, and it would not be fitting for us to have that conversation. But I have access to the right people, and I know who their guardians are, if you will, to make sure that they're on solid ground as well. So it's a little bit of both, but primarily our first channel is being that strategic partner with the financial community.
So can you give me like an example of the type of work that you're doing for a client now? Like, is it admin? Is it advisory? Give me a recent example of a client you're helping.
Sure. And it really does run the full gamut. No two clients have been alike. We do have clients in which we are being, really that personal assistant, and we are managing everything from that cash flow statement and making sure all the bills are paid and doing the tracking and making sure that, the water bill isn't going too high, and then also doing annual reviews on their Medicare products. But then we also have clients where it's maybe just a special project where they need someone to come in and prepare that tax package to be sent off to the CPA. Or they just want to sit down and they really want to decide, can I afford to stay in my house or do I need to move? So it really depends on what those specific needs are. We've had clients that have been with us for the full 3 years that we've been in existence, and we really do work, shoulder to shoulder with them on a monthly or weekly basis. And then we do have ones where it is just that short term. There might have been a life event, and it can be a divorce, a passing, or just an illness in which they need someone to step in and make sure that their household is running smoothly for the time being.
Awesome. Well, I'm recalling my own experiences with, medical claims and dental claims. I get these packets, like letter after letter after letter from the insurance carriers or, regarding my claims. And it's really confusing to me. And I can only imagine someone who, has trouble, reading or just hasn't dealt with insurance before, I mean, it can be completely overwhelming. I mean, I've studied these bills and invoices over and over, and I can't figure it out. So I can totally see the need.
I mean, it is absolutely daunting what can be thrown at an individual, regardless of your age, regardless of, cognitive ability. Not only are you getting aftercare summaries from every time you walk out of the doctor, so you've got a packet of information summarizing the visit and what you need to have happen after that. They might be giving you a statement of what is going to be billed out, and then you get a statement from your insurance as well as your secondary that you have to decipher of, okay, what did they pay? What was negotiated? Do I owe anything? And then you're going to get a final account statement from your physician. I mean, it's just daunting, and it causes stress, and it's somewhat unnecessary, and it's not fair to a lot of people that are supposed to be retired and enjoying life at the moment. Instead, they have a full-time job of just being a senior and working through all of the paperwork.
Yeah. And so you'll either receive their communications on their behalf electronically, or work with your client, the client in their home, to kind of once a month or once every 2 weeks to kind of look at everything together with them, or?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, especially these days, given social distancing and wanting to maintain everyone's physical well-being. This function, having that certified senior advisor kind of in your corner, can be done completely virtually. We have options in which you have time with that dedicated advisor up to 2 hours a month, in which you're having meetings like this via Zoom, and the mail, the bills, all of those things can either be shared electronically, or you can grant view-only access to those online records, or you can have the mail forwarded. We even have one client where their advisor goes once a month and has the garage door code, goes in the garage, and there is a tote bag with all the mail. And she is off with it. No one is having to interact face-to-face, and everyone's well-being is preserved at the same time.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else you want to say to our viewers?
No, it's been an incredible ride over the past 3 years, founding this organization, and bringing really great relief and peace to a lot of individuals, as well as their family members. And then on the flip side, being able to add value to the offerings of the financial and legal community to make sure that their clients are not only satisfied, but also have a greater level of security. Just checks so many boxes that we're really excited to see how we blossom across the country into 2021.
Awesome. Well, loved loved learning about your industry. Hope to have you back another time to learn more, but that's like a perfect introduction to a really, really interesting field and space, and appreciate it.
Yeah, well, and also given the times we live in, and we do end up talking a lot of real estate with our clients, given that they might have been in a family home for decades, or they're considering a change, or really just want to question the value of their home. And to be perfectly honest, my husband and I, having a terrible penchant for wanting to find the biggest money pits we can in town, I of course have questions for you. I mean, it's straight, and what the million-dollar question everyone wants to know: how has COVID impacted specifically Chicago residential? What are you going to, give us your crystal ball. What do you think is going to happen, and what are you predicting for the coming, quarters or year?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question. So, very interesting times. I don't think anyone would have predicted what we're seeing right now, and that is particularly in the single family home market. It's on fire. It is a very, very hot market. You would think with, all the layoffs that there have been, and the uncertainty in the stock market and all of that would lead to the reverse. But we're seeing a very, very strong market, multiple offer situation, and almost every client that I'm working with has experienced that right now. Homes going for over asking price almost every time. I think there's a few reasons for that. For the people that are fortunate enough to still be working, there's less competition out there for people to get into maybe a first home. So there's been pent-up demand really for first-time home buyers for years. The market's been strong for really 10, 12 years now, which is just unheard of. And there's been low inventory, and there's still very low inventory despite prices on the rise. So people that are still working, still have employment, and are able to, still qualify for mortgages are finding this is the best opportunity to finally get into their first home.
Okay.
Mortgage rates are also crazy low. So people that have been renting for years and hoping to at some point get into home ownership,
Sure.
are really looking closer at cost comparison. What is it going to cost each month for rent versus mortgage? And the numbers are just so stark. There's such a difference today with the mortgage rates being so low, and with rents continuing to rise. Really, the gap between renting and owning is very obvious. So that's driving demand, and the market is smoking hot.
Yeah. So strike now while the iron's hot, and while there is what little inventory that you can grab that you can be happy at home in for a good number of years.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is people. One of my thoughts is people realize they're spending so much more time at home now. So where a 2-bedroom might have been okay in the past for a young family, if both parents are working at home, well, that doesn't really cut it anymore. So, people realizing the uncertainty around COVID, not knowing if they're going to be home for another 2 months or another 12 months, and really nobody knows.
Right.
Let's hope it's shorter, but no one knows. And so we also have folks starting to look outside of the city where they can get a yard for their dog and their toddler.
Right.
And have an extra bedroom for an office. So I think that's also kind of feeding the heat of the market.
And given that, even in my house, which we've been thrilled with, my husband and I jockey for who's going to work out of the office space on any given day. There's a flip side to that coin. What do you think is going to happen to the office leasing market?
Or to the office leasing market?
Mm-hmm.
So this is an very interesting question. I don't think anyone really knows what's going to happen, but I'll tell you what if I had a crystal ball, what I'm seeing into that crystal ball. So I think you're going to see a combination of two things. And for small businesses that for many years, and this isn't just a new thing around COVID, but I think small businesses and even medium-sized businesses have realized for some time they've kind of been teeter-tottering around, is it okay for employees to work from home? And some leaders like it and others, don't. But I think the interesting thing about COVID is, it's kind of like they've been forced to pilot this whole remote working thing. So I think you're going to see some businesses that see, well, it's actually worked. So why are we paying all this for all this space that we maybe don't need, right? And so those businesses that are seeing it working, I could see them maybe downgrading the size of their space when their leases come up for renewal. And again, most businesses have multi-year leases, so this isn't going to happen overnight. But as the leases come up for renewal, I think you're going to see some business owners kind of rethinking, do we really need to be spending all this money on this much space when they have fewer people in the office? Yeah. On the other side of things, now with COVID, companies are going to realize that even if they have, say, half the number of people in the office each day, they're going to need twice the space.
Right.
Because of the social distancing. If you had 100 people in an office and now you have 50, well, you need a buffer around each desk or cubicle, so you might have to keep the same size space. even with half the people in the office each day.
The
So,
face of business is going to be very, very, very different.
yeah, it's just, you know, so many things are changing. I don't think anyone's going to just, you know, cancel their office leases. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think you're going to see serious thought around what the future of their, what their future needs really are in terms of size of office space.
I know that another area that you're very highly recognized and have great expertise is the multi-unit investment property space. You know, where do you see that right now? What's going on in that area?
Super hot market. It's just, you know, the right properties in the right locations are going very, very quickly, sometimes in as little as a week. So the multifamily space has been hot again for many years. We can talk about the potential reasons behind that. Again, it's low inventory.
Okay.
And, you know, I think one other thing that's kind of coming into play right now is the volatility in the stock market. So when, you know, when the Dow was at 29,500, everyone was happy, making money, you know, hand over fist, but then we had a quick pullback, you know, what, a 30% pullback in about a month probably. And people were realizing, well, okay, maybe we're not going to make money, you know, forever. And there is, you know, they're realizing that there is really some risk in stocks. So I think that the kind of the volatility that we've seen really since COVID is getting people to think about diversification. And, you know, for folks that have a lot of money invested in stocks and bonds, well, maybe they're starting to think of other things that they can put into their bucket to ensure that they're not investing too much in one bucket. So that is definitely, my clients are definitely, you know, those that are kind of had soft interest in multi-unit and now have strong interest in multi-unit. So I'm very busy. Most of my time right now is spent with multi-unit investor clients, trying to find them a product that will generate some rental income for them. So they have, again, the diversification, they have some additional cash flow each month. And for those clients that are, you know, looking to ultimately slow down and inch toward retirement, it provides them with some immediate cash flow so that they can slow down when the time is right for them to retire. They're not going from 100 to 0. They have some income, and through monthly rental revenues.
Does that the same thoughts apply to mixed use as well?
Mixed use is an interesting space. Really not my forte, to be honest with you, but I do have clients that redevelop those space into multi-units.
Oh, okay.
You know, my personal thoughts on mixed use is, you know, I mean, there's a lot of retail spaces that are empty, even in very prime areas.
My sweet little village is sadly very, very empty right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not good for the tax base. It's not good for anyone really. So, you know, if I was to predict the future, I think you're going to see some municipalities starting to rethink zoning, realizing that the future of retail might be a little bit different, and trying to open their minds to ways of reusing spaces that are continually empty.
That's very
Just
fair.
a production.
Yeah. I mean, and there's clearly a million real estate agents out there, and I know you, and definitely given your expertise and how vast it is, especially knowing this market so well as others. Why do people work specifically with you? How have you? I mean, I to know you is to love you, Brad. But you know, what is the testimonial of those clients that have been working with you time and time again?
Yeah, thanks, Jill. So what my clients tell me is they come to me and they come back to me because I'm honest, I'm transparent, I'm responsive. You know, they have a question, they've got an answer usually within minutes. They always know I'll get back to them. They know I have a lot of knowledge and know-how. And I think most importantly, what I hear from them is I don't push them too hard. I'm not too aggressive. I will present opportunities to my first-time home buyers, to my home buyers, to my investor clients. I will show them good opportunities. I'll apply my knowledge to position them very well. And if they want to buy, they buy. But I never push my clients into an opportunity. And as a result, they trust me because I'm not an overly aggressive salesperson. They know I have their best interests at heart. And as much as I want the sale, I will never push them into a place where they're not comfortable.
Fantastic. Yeah. Relationships are well beyond the initial transaction. It's a lifelong thing.
Exactly. There's a million, to your point, there's a million brokers out there. There's a million financial advisors out there, and probably, maybe not a million, but many senior advisors too. But it's all about the relationship, and I work hard for my clients. I'm honest with them, and we have fun. I have a great time with my clients. So it's not work to me. I really love what I'm doing, and I really love finding people their next home and making the money.
Fantastic. Great words. So, Brad, thank you again for having me today. This has been a fantastic way to spend my afternoon.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Jill. Again, this was our inaugural meeting of Chicagoans at home, talking shop. So glad to have had you, Jill. Jill Dillingham, CEO and founder of Tight Ship Advisors.
Yes.
And again, I'm Brad Etlin with Kale Realty, commercial and luxury residential specialist. So thank you again. I hope you have a great afternoon, all of you. Thank you, Jill, and hope to chat again with you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.